Senator Rockefeller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I enormously appreciate the attitude of yourself and your colleagues in allowing me to be here, as indeed you did after the Sago mine disaster, and we wrote legislation. Congressman Rahal being in the audience is important. I just wish that everybody, other than those who were there, who are watching in the audience and in the other overflow room, could have been at the ceremony, Miners Memorial, on Sunday, which was one of the most powerful and gripping experiences that I've ever had. You know, workplace safety is important in all industries, but it's absolutely critical in those industries where the risks of injury are great and the consequences of poor safety are severe. Sadly, we've been there before, after the tragedy of Sago and Aracoma. And I had the honor, as I indicated, of joining this committee then. I would like to be made a permanent member, but I'm not going to push the envelope. And it meant a lot to the families there at Sago that Senators Kennedy and I'll just say in particular Senator Isaacson and Senator Enzi were there because they had not been to West Virginia before. In particular, they had not been to a mine disaster before, and they moved in with those families and talked with them, and for a period of quite a long period, they were a part and parcel, and then became a part and parcel of the legislation that we passed. It would not have passed if it had not been for Senator Isaacson and Senator Enzi and their perseverance. It was as if they became West Virginians. So we vowed to improve safety in the mines, and we passed the Miners Act, which we thought was pretty good. We were reacting to what we had seen at Aracoma, not at Aracoma, at Sago. And it was a good piece of legislation that did improve safety, particularly with respect to response teams, and actually the only piece of federal legislation in the previous 30 years, which says something probably not very good. But frankly, that legislation was not enough. First and foremost, safety is about a company doing the right thing to develop a true culture of safety. Easily said, hard to do, something that I want to be talking with Mr. Maine about. We need to find out what is working in safe mines, where people are doing the same thing. They may be larger, they may be smaller, because these are doing the right thing every day, and we cannot forget about what it is about them that allows them to do the same act of mining in the same danger, but to do it safely. What do they do that others don't? And then on the other hand, we need to know what is not working, likewise, in more dangerous mines. Why do injuries and deaths occur there, whereas they don't in mines that are watched over more carefully? Because the mine operators who show no regard for safety should not be allowed to gain a competitive advantage, because some are being very careful and very specific in the way they try to do safety in the right ways, and others aren't. And the sad fact is, in the coal fields, which are remote, far distant, in this case, Senator Isaacson, even more distant than Sago. I mean, way, way back in the hills of southern West Virginia. So safety is also about state and federal government stepping in. I think toughening up our laws where appropriate. I don't disagree with what you said, Senator Isaacson, but I think there is room for improvement. And we sort of react to the latest mine disaster. Is that a good way to do safety legislation? I don't think it probably is, but it's a heck of a motivator, and it makes us do things that we might not otherwise have done. And so we need to grab the spirit of this moment, the sadness of this moment, and do our duty. We will learn a lot from MSHA's investigation into this tragedy. That investigation will take 6, 8, 10 months. I'm not sure legislation can wait for that. In fact, I'm quite sure it can't. So therein also lies an immediate problem. And I don't think it's necessarily going to be a problem, because I think many of our problems in our system are already quite clear. And I would just name 4, Mr. Chairman, and then I'll be finished for the moment. We know that MSHA can issue immediate withdrawal orders for imminent dangerous violations. But we need to find out if MSHA is doing all it can do to find them, and if it is using its authority to the fullest extent. 2, currently the Mine Safety and Health Review Commission has a backlog of more than 16,000 cases consisting of 82,000 violations. That's an awful lot of violations and appeals and all kinds of other things. I think that has to change. I'm certain that has to change. And we must help do that either by self-reforming of MSHA, or more likely doing it in legislation so that MSHA really has no choice but to do it, and then budget help has to follow that. And we need to put an end to the loopholes in the law that allow some mines to put profit over safety. And we all know what that is. It's the using of the appeal process, because of that way they can go ahead and mine, and since they're appealing, they don't have to pay a fine. They can go ahead and do what they're doing, and that doesn't seem right at all. Thirdly, we also need to improve MSHA's enforcement efforts themselves and determine what new authorities as an agency that MSHA may need. MSHA must not be shy about this. It is a culture unto itself. It's a culture which is a different one now, I think, than the last time we did legislation. And I'm talking about such things as subpoena power, or a little bit more far-fetched, but not at all out of the ring, enhanced criminal penalties. And number 4, there's also more work to do to protect whistleblowers. I believe in whistleblowers. I don't believe in irresponsible whistleblowers who've just had a really bad week with their wife and they're just furious and want to cause trouble. But there's nothing in me that says that we can't find a way to separate those out and to take not just the 1-800 number phone calls, which are more removed, but make the whistleblower system work. So, Mr. Chairman, I thank you for letting me come here, and I look forward to this.